Right then, welcome back to the channel. Before you all start asking what happened to the old mince pie, I will talk about that at the end. So stick around to the end, and I will fill you in exactly on what happened, because there's been anyway. I thought United started absolutely fantastically. We see the starting 11 come out. I'm quite surprised and happy about Luke Shaw being back in the squad. And that was a real positive for us. We see that little quartet of players that I was really keen on seeing: Martinez, Varane, Casemiro, and Mainoo. And obviously within that, we also get to see Mainoo and Casemiro as a midfield too. Loads of positivity that have there going into it. I mean, of course, we've got the Marcus Rashford thing. I'll probably do a standalone video on that during the week rather than waste time talking about it now on a review. But that's about as strong as 11 as we can go for. 6 minutes in, we're 1-0 up. We're dominating the ball. We're playing fantastic. We're dragging players out of position. We're finding loads of space with our fullbacks. It looks great. It looks absolutely great. Then we get a second, and all we're doing is creating chances now. And I'm thinking 4 or 5-0 this. Easy street. Then it's like, can we, let's find out about this keeper a little bit. Let's see how we play a little bit. Notice he likes to stand on the ball. Okay, don't mind that. But what actually happened was Manchester United stopped doing the things that got us 2-0 so early in the game. And you could say it was a game of two halves, but it was a game of three halves, really. Because that first half of the first half, we've carved them open, we've done the right thing, and Antony on the left-hand side, just making the right decisions. And then as soon as we're 2-0 up, everybody decides to make the wrong decisions. And I should be sitting here talking about Kobbie Mainoo getting his first goal for the senior team, and I should be talking about Rasmus Hojlund getting another goal. He's had 20 starts, he's on 8 goals. Like, this should be, something quite commendable for a player of his age. But he should have come away with 4 or 5 today because the opportunities were there, but the decision-making of the players getting into that position was abjectly not good enough. The players, Garnacho and Antony in particular, started playing for themselves, and they both had probably 4, maybe 5 each where they should have played Hojlund in. I think Hojlund created more chances for the players around him than the collective created for him, which is arse backwards. Like, it's completely backwards. That guy's job is to score goals. It's like asking Hojlund to go and save penalties. That's not his job. And as Roy Keane would say, do your job. Your job is to... Stand by our new manager, remember that? Your job is to pass it to this guy, and his job is to finish it. And if he starts missing loads of chances, we get on his case, because that is his job. But your job is to create. It's to score as well, but it's to create. And when you've got a guy that's starving and relies on confidence and service, stop fucking going for yourself and start playing this kid in so we can see some goals. Because the talent is there. He's playing all right, but nobody is passing to him. No one. How many shots did Bruno Fernandes have compared to Hojlund? Not good enough. Not good enough. And yeah, I'd say it was nice to see. I thought the goals came from a little bit of luck in the way they came. They didn't create a ton of chances, really, and we did limit them. But do you know what? There's no glory in the beating of a League Two side. None. You did your jobs. Not very well, I might add, but you did your jobs. You were supposed to completely steamrail them. Just not good enough. Completely not good enough. It was a worrying win. How do you win and score 4 goals, but allow a League Two side to score 2 against you? The pitch was fine. Honestly, the pitch was sound. There was some real nice passages of play from us. There was some really nice one-touch stuff. There was some really nice movement ahead of the ball. But it was let down by decision-making. Big time. And like I said, you can't... I mean, at 2-0, the way it was going, I was fully prepared to come here and just be outrageously giddy happy. But they've even robbed that off me. because at 2-2 it was embarrassing. And they could have got another. They could have got another. You know, and there was a problem because the air of inevitability, once it got to 2-1, the air of inevitability that the next goal was going to be a Newport goal was a joke. And honestly, for a lower league pitch, it's League Two, so like, let's not have people trying to pretend it's the sort of bullshit we have to play on. It was a good surface. There was nothing wrong with the surface at all. And I don't necessarily think United took it lightly. It was just key decisions at the wrong times. Just 2-0. Like, some people like to throw out this line that 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in football. It's not. Literally win 98% of the games that you go 2-0 up in. It's actually not even 0-0 is the most dangerous scoreline. I think 1-0 is the most dangerous scoreline, statistically. But maybe from a mental point of view, 2-0 is a problem because you feel like the game's won. 3-0, the game's won. You get 3 goals to the good, generally. You know, it does happen, but it don't happen very often. It is a genuine it's a genuine Leicester title win for the amount of games where someone goes 3-0 down and then lose and then manages to turn it around and win it. But at 2-0, the game wasn't won. It's 4 and 5-0 where you start showboating, or if you've not scored and it's 4 or 5-0. People will forgive you for a bit of showboating, and people will forgive you for going solo a little bit and trying to get yourself on the score sheet. No one cares. Yeah, go on. You've had a good game. You've set 2 up. You've set 3 up. You know, you've had a couple of unlucky shots. Go get yourself a goal, lad. Everyone's happy for you. But at 2-0 when the game ain't won, and those selfish shit decisions allow an opposition to get back into the game, it's not right. And the problem is, well, he's not even bringing on Diallo, so we're not going to know if Diallo's any good or not. Which tells you that he's clearly not doing enough in training to force his way over, some academy options. You've got what's going on with Marcus, which I don't know how that gets resolved. In the next 7 days, we've got 2 games. Will he feature in one of those? Surely, because. And actually, like, someone was said to me before on social media, everyone gives Antony stick, but he's got a goal and an assist, and you're thinking, he's got to be better than that. That's not what it's about, realistically. He's got to produce more against League Two teams, and people go, goal and assist is fine. The performance still wasn't. And yesterday when I did the video, I was like, we should win, right? But I'm really here to see a good performance. I didn't see the good performance. I really didn't. Okay. So the eye. What happened at the eye? Was it the lads that was chopsing off on Twitter? It'd been funny if it was, wasn't it? But obviously it wasn't. As a coach, one of the most important things that I see as my job is protecting my players. And one thing that the cameras at the games does is it brings out the bells. And I'm talking bell ends, not jingle bells. And it brings them out very often. And I spoke to Spencer from Hashtag about this very early on in the inception of the club. And he said, yeah, we don't get to play teams on their worst day. We only get them on their best because they all come out for the cameras. And maybe it's a bit exaggerated with them because they're fucking monstrous compared to the size of us. And obviously knocking on the door of where Newport are. And it was interesting, he said that it actually decreases the more you play a team because they realise cameras don't do fuck all. And it's funny that the opposition actually give more of a fuck about the cameras than we ever do. But there's been a couple of boot-offs this year. Which has been disappointing. And it's rarely something we instigate. because we are literally there trying to play football. Yesterday, there was probably 4 or 5 two-footed challenges in the first 20 minutes of our game. And I stepped onto the pitch about a foot to shout at the referee, which again, it's not ideal, is it? But protecting my players is my number one thought in that sort of circumstance. And the first tackle was a two-footer which went unpunished. And you kind of think, right, I'm in Liverpool. So you're thinking, okay, it's got to be like that, right? So I've screamed at the ref and I've stepped over the line. I'm on the line. There isn't a technical area at our level. And normally we play in decent facilities. Obviously we play in a stadium. It's a conference level stadium, National League level stadium. Yesterday we played on a fucking park, literally a Sunday League park, which I don't like playing on anyway because the surface ain't great. But it was a decent size in all honesty. Surface was a bit off, but it was an okay size. And one of the opposition players tells me to get off the pitch and then headbutts me, which is hilarious because they've all been in my social media today with just fantasy versions of what happened. Now, I know that everything we do is recorded. So I've got no qualms telling you what happened because I know what happened. I've rewatched what happened and I've actually shared the full here's what happened on Patreon. So I know there's loads of people who are watching this now will go, yeah, I've seen it. I saw it and here's what happened. If you want to see it for yourself, it's right there on my Patreon. It's 2 minutes. It starts with me shouting at the ref. You see the guy headbutt me. I'll let you figure out what happens next after that. But I will always defend myself and my players. Despite what little fucking scouse bells on social media want to say, you can see the truth with your own eyes. So it's up to you. Anyway, yeah, I caught one. It's fair to say. And my eyes are a bit swollen up, as you can see. And I got a bit of a cut on the cheek. But it is what it is. And we won the game 2-0. It's up the fucking Reds. Go check that out at Patreon if you want. I'll be back with 5 things in the morning. Laters.